right, welcome back to the archives. Welcome to Cloudchildren. Okay, we have made it to the second story in my fantasy era. I think this was later on in high school, so I was probably 15, 16 when I was writing this. This may have been around the same time as I was writing Titanium, but this was my fantasy story. This was my second fantasy story. I didn't get super creative because I went from the Sorcerer's Children to Cloudchildren. This one is also not finished, but this one is actually, I wrote more than the Sorcerer's Children, but I also had a lot more font changes. And that is because each chapter changes perspective, and we have 5 main characters. So we have upgraded from our trio. So in the Sorcerer's Children, we had our trio of Amy, Emma, and Dominic. We have now upgraded from that. We have 5 main characters, and each of them have their own font, because of course they do. And because there are 5 of them, and 2 of them are, there's 2 pairs and then a solo person, and because of that, there are 3 prologues in this story. I honestly barely remember this story. I think it was very similar to the Sorcerer's Children, where it was, these children who had rough lives are brought together, brought to a village, not a camp. It is not Percy Jackson still. They have magical powers. They leave, they go on a quest, and we stop halfway through the quest because I didn't get there. Let's get started here. So we have got the first prologue. The first prologue is for Jesse and Matt. So Jesse and Matt are brother and sister. Okay, how do we start? We are starting with Jesse. Jesse was my favorite because I like the name Jesse the best, and she's the oldest. What is Jesse up to? Jesse is crouched on the dirty ground with a cold wind blowing through her dark, greasy hair. Her hair is dark, so her hair is not caramel colored. I am not sure if there's anybody with caramel colored hair in this book. Probably. This is another thing, is that originally her name was Talia, which I had obviously stolen from Percy Jackson. It was spelled the same way. I pronounced it because I know it's not pronounced Talia. It's pronounced, I think, Thalia in Percy Jackson, but when I read it, I pronounced it as Talia in my mind, and so when I wrote this, I did call her Talia, and I changed it to Jessie. I don't know if that's because I realized I was blatantly copying Percy Jackson or not, but her name is Jessie. So Jessie is pawing at the dirt. She is bored and stiff. Oh, here we go. Outfit, thin stockings, and she's leaning against a marble building, cringing at the cold that is soaking through her damp dress. There is a crossbow strapped to her back. She only had the 1 arrow with her, so she had to use it wisely. Okay, Jessie's hunting. Oh, piercing blue eyes. Leaned out to see her prey. Oh, a deer. Okay. So Jessie's hunting a deer that would provide her a week worth of food. Jessie is only 11. I think we have a time jump. So Jessie's not 11 once we get to the actual story, but in this prologue, she's 11. She had no idea how to prepare an animal. So she would always bring it to a butcher. He was more than happy to help her. So Jessie is just killing deer and then dragging them to a butcher shop at 11 years old. Fitted the arrow into her crossbow, held the position, feeling the tension of the cord that she held in her grubby hands, and shoots the deer. The mission was successful. Go, Jessie. Okay, Jessie scoops a deer into her hunting bag. This girl is 11, and she has just scooped a deer into a bag and is bringing it down to Greg's Butchery. Goes into Greg's Butchery. She is chilled to the bone from the rain, and she is shivering so violently that customers stopped and hesitated before they ran outside. Jessie has walked into a butcher shop, and she is shivering so hard that and with a dead deer. Jessie has walked in. A few people even ran back in to buy sweaters. It's a butcher shop. They don't sell sweaters at butcher shops, but apparently people are buying sweaters from the butchers because Jessie looks that cold. So Jessie goes through the store, goes to the back where Greg is preparing meat. Greg says, "Miss Prince, what are you doing out on this freezing night?" Jessie dumps the bag onto the counter. Oh, I guess he's preparing the deer for them. And Greg asks if she and her brother are all right. And Jessie says yes and says, "Thank you, sir." And then Greg says, "Miss Prince, are you sure they haven't found you yet?" "Oh, who's they?" "Not so loud," says Jessie. And he says, "They'll find you soon, Jessie. Be careful." He goes away. Leaves Jessie dripping on the floor and scared. Nice. And then she turns. She leaves. Okay, that is the end of the first scene. The prologues are extensive. Hang on. Sorry, really quickly, let's just check. The first 10 pages of this book are prologues. So, second scene of Jessie and Matt's prologue. Jessie goes home. She goes to her apartment. It is at 99 Walnut Drive. Uses her bobby pin to unlock the door, so Jessie doesn't have a key to her apartment. She is picking the lock to her apartment. Nodded to Jeff, who manned the front desk. So Jessie walks into the apartment. There is a man at the front desk. She goes, "Hey, Jeff," and picks the a lock into her apartment. Goes up the stairs. Jessie is living with her 7-year-old brother. Everyone thought they lived with Ann Tyler, who lives the floor below. Ann gives them permission to tell everyone that they live there, but she doesn't actually want to take care of them. So Jessie is 11 and Matt is 7, and they're telling the world that they live with their neighbor, who does not want to take care of them. So they're living in her attic. And Greg has asked if they found her because Jessie apparently has told this random butcher that she and her brother are actually kind of living on their own. And I think it's that it's social services want to take them away because they're 11 and 7 and living on their own. Jessie goes up to the attic, pushes open the secret door that was hidden to anyone else, cloaked behind an excruciatingly ugly tapestry. Jessie goes up the creaky steps and pushes open the rotting wooden door to her room. Damn, well that sounds nice. Matt is sitting on the bed. He is playing with a bracelet that their mother had given them a week before her death. So Jessie and Matt's parents are dead. Jessie sits down beside Matt and tells him to put it away. Matt looks up and his face is covered with ashes and streaked with blood. Matt is covered in ash with a giant cut across his cheek. "What have you done?" Jessie asks. Oh, takes out a candle. So they have no lights, I guess. So she lights the candle. Here we go. Let's describe the room. Okay, room is bare. 2 cots, a desk, and the 2 children. Constantly on the run, but they've lived in the attic for 4 years. So they're constantly on the run, but they've had a place to go for 4 years. Since Matt was 3, seriously? So they're not constantly on the run because they've been in the same place for 4 years. Okay, I'm sorry. They're 11 and 7 and living by themselves in an attic. They're not doing great. Jessie asks Matt what he's done to cut his face. Matt is 7 years old, responds by saying that he cut it in the mine today. So Matt is 7 and working in a mine. She goes to the desk, opens the 3rd drawer, not just a drawer, the 3rd drawer, takes out a bottle of water, a face cloth, and a bandage. Clearly this is something that happens often. She's got the supplies in the 3rd drawer. She cleans up his face and puts a band-aid on it. Matt says, "Thanks, Jess," and then asked... Now that Jessie has cleaned up Matt's cut, Matt asks if she'll read to him. Do we remember that earlier on, a little while ago, I said that originally I had named this girl Talia? What had happened was that every time he called her by a nickname, which he does right here, he says Jess, he called her Tal, which I guess I had spelled as T-A-L. I changed her name late enough into the writing process that it was really a hassle to go back and change every single one. So what I did was a search and replace. Because of this, a few random words have been changed because they have a book of fairy tales. But because it's tales, the T-A-L, which was Tal, has been changed to Jess. So they have a book of fairy Jesses. They never seem to get old. No, fairy Jesses just don't get old, do they? Jessie asks her brother if he wants to read fairy Jesses or fantasy. And he says fairy Jesses. Right, so Jessie reaches into the 4th drawer. I don't know what's in the first 2 drawers. The 3rd drawer has the cloths, bandages, and water. The 4th drawer has the books. The other things that they have are candles, matches, and hunting equipment and their mother's bracelets. So I guess those are in the first 2 drawers. So they read for half an hour. As they were halfway through a story about a glass slipper and a girl named Cinderella. Wow, I wonder what story they could possibly be reading. Oh, they hear voices from the floor below. Oh, okay. Ann Tyler. This is Ann Tyler's one appearance. The woman that is telling everyone she's taking care of them. Ann Tyler says, "Yes, I know them." Jessie places her hand on Matt's leg, pinning him to the bed, sending him a message to be quiet. Because obviously this isn't about to be good. "Yes, of course. Right upstairs. There's a secret door. Yes, behind the tapestry. Okay, have a good day," says Anne. So social services has just hunted down Jessie and Matt. Anne has given them explicit directions to where these 2 are hiding. She says, "Yeah, there's a secret door behind the tapestry. Have a good one." Anne gives no fucks. Anne is over this. Anne doesn't want to deal with this anymore. Jessie hears them say this, gives a nervous glance to her brother, and then shoves him under the cot and goes underneath hers. So these 2 are hiding underneath the bed as if they think that's gonna help. Jessie reaches out to touch her brother's hand. So Jessie and Matt are holding hands across the floor. They're trying to hide, but their hands are stretched out across the floor. People are gonna walk in and see these 2 arms stretched between the cots. Yeah, that's a good way to hide. Matt says, "Jess, I'm scared." Jessie says, "It's okay, they won't find us." Sure they won't. "Hello?" says a male voice. Oh, here we go. The shoes that Jessie could see were black, large, and shiny. Jessie didn't even have a pair of them right now, let alone such shiny ones. Oh, Jessie doesn't have any shoes. Okay, so a man is in their room. Somebody's come into their room. "I know you're down there." This time, it was a woman who was Jessking. Remember, every T-A-L in the story has been replaced with Jess. A woman is talking, but no, she's Jessking. Bends down. Oh! Woman bends down until Jessie can see her kind face. She is wearing jean capris and a green tank top. This woman doesn't even have a name, and I've described her outfit. She smiles at Jessie and says, "Are you Jessie Prince?" Jessie says, "Yeah, I am." "Obviously you are." Woman says, "You don't have to hide under the bed, honey. We want to help. Come on out." So she pulls Jessie out of the bed and then looks under Matt's bed and says, "Come on out, buddy. We won't hurt you." Matt says, "Nuh-uh." Woman pulls him out, sits him on the bed. Jessie and Matthew Prince. "Hi." Okay, this is the man. Let's see. Oh, I don't describe what the man is wearing, but I do describe what they both had coffee-colored skin. What kind of coffee? Green eyes. And they were... They're both tall, but they're not because they're both Jessel. "I'm Tom," says the man. Don't we have Toms in other stories? There's definitely a Tom in The Mystery Man. There's a Tom in Atlantis, the guy that abandons his family and leaves them to die. That's a Tom. And there's a Tom in The Original Beautiful Lives. Lexi's original dad is Tom. Again, I'm really bad with names. Oh, but this one's a different name. She is Tiana. Look, you two aren't old enough to live alone, which you know what? They're 11 and 7. No, they're actually not. We're going to bring you to orphanages. He says, "Matt, my man, you'll come with me. Get your things." And Tiana says, "Jessie, you'll be with me." So they're about to separate Jessie and Matt. Oh God, this is not good. They are not okay with it. Matt says, "I don't want to leave my sister." And Jessie says, "It'll be okay. We'll see each other again." And Tiana says, "You can write to each other." Jessie says, "You hear that?" Oh, and Matt's crying. "Bye, Jess, I'll miss you." Part of Jessie wondered why they were giving up so easily. Do you know why they're giving up so easily? Because I didn't want to write a scene of them struggling. They've been hiding from these people for years, but now it was time. She couldn't live like this anymore. I couldn't write like this anymore. Oh, reaches for her crossbow. Can take her crossbow to the orphanage. And Tiana says, no. They go to the lobby. Jessie gets in the car. Tiana drives them to Jessie's new home. Here we go. Okay. Go through the doors. Jessie took a look around at the room that was to be her new living room. Ugly thing. Ugly thing is a sentence. Jessie was briskly led through the halls, stared at by many girls. I guess this is an all-girls orphanage. Tiana took Jessie into a small room with 3 other girls. They're not important. They're all sitting on small beds looking clean but sad, but we don't describe their outfits, so really they don't matter in the slightest. Okay, Tiana says goodbye, tells Jessie to be brave. Jessie seats herself on the last available bed, submitted herself to her new home. Now we skip 3 years later. This is where the actual story is starting at 3 years later. So Jessie is 14. Here we go. She is dressed in a clean white dress. She's very pretty, but very serious. Those are mutually exclusive things, apparently. Jessie is in her morning lessons, and she has a letter in her lap from Matt. Matt is saying, "Hey there, sister. I miss you like crazy over here. I haven't jesked to you in years. It feels like longer than 3 years. It feels more like 10, especially since you're my big sister. The orphanage I'm at is okay. We have to go to lessons. I'm one of the best in my class. A lot of boys like me, but most of them don't. Like this one guy, Tim. Timothy!" Another Tim. He's always mean to me, you know? Punching me and stealing my lunch. I'm 11 now. He needs to tell her this. My teachers say that I'm a young man. I like that. I'm writing... Oh boy. I'm writing because my mistress... I think that's supposed to mean his dorm master or something, but I have written my mistress, and in brackets, we have written her name. Her name is Aaliyah. She has given him permission to see Jessie. I wanted to ask you if you could meet me sometime, maybe at the park? Oh, Jess, I think you're old enough to take care of me again. She took care of you at 11. Obviously, she's old enough. I want to sneak out and come live with you somewhere. My mistress won't allow it. But I know that you would sneak out in a heartbeat to take care of me. I don't remember as much about you as I should, but I do remember that you care a lot about me. Do you like my writing now? Do you like the font that I've chosen? That's why that's in there. Do you like my font? I've learned how to write properly and how to spell. Yeah, you've learned how to write in Harrington font. I'm supposed to have a teacher look over this letter, but I can't let that happen. I'll have a few people in my dorm edit it. He's gonna give this letter proposing this breakout to people in his dorm to edit. Okay. Then you'll be able to see how much I've learned. No, that's not how much you've learned. That's people, if you're having people edit it, that's not how much you've learned. I miss you, Jessie. I hope we can see each other soon. Please respond. Miss you. Love you. Matt Prince. He's put his last name in this letter to his sister. That is Matt's letter. Now we have Jessie's response letter. Jessie writes, Matt, hello, little brother. I miss you too over here at this awful orphanage. I guess it's awful. I can't believe it's been 3 years, my brother. I'm 14 now, as you might imagine. Matt, I'm not so sure about your plan. I'm only 14. You're 11. fine. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I will sneak out next Sunday at 7 o'clock and I'll meet you at the park. The park. Your writing is very good. I'll see you soon. You can catch me up on everything. Respectfully yours, my brother. I miss you too, Jesse Prince. These guys are signing their last names. Brother and sister, last names, very formal. Okay, Jessie puts the letter into her desk as her teacher walks by. Her teacher comes up and says, Miss Prince, how are you doing with those textbook questions? Jessie says, Gets out some notes, paper full of numbers. Teacher looks and says, Miss Prince, you need to pay more attention to your studies and less time thinking about ... because he doesn't know what she's thinking about. And Jessie says she's sorry. Knew that her teacher was disappointed in her, but she couldn't bring herself to admit that she'd been plotting to sneak out and meet her brother. No, I get that. That's the end of the second scene of the first prologue. This story's extensive. Sunday night, Jessie ducked out of the orphanage. Oh, she's carrying a book as a present. Creeps to the park. Careful, watch anybody who might be following her. Matt, she's in the park. Jess! Oh, and a Jesseline boy. So Matt is tall now. They find each other. They hug. Matt cringed when they hug. Jessie says, thank goodness you're okay. And Matt says, let's get out of here. And the two of them walk away together once more. Because that is the first prologue. I think that is the end of the first episode. That is Jessie and Matt. Those are the first two characters of the 5. We will be back for episode 2. We will meet the other 3.